Objectivity always wins. I came from a background of math and science, and I can tell you that data and facts win. I could tell you that bridges stand because of statics and calculus, and the amount of atoms in 12 grams of carbon-12 is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. And that brought me to the law, because in courts we try to get towards objective facts so we can make decisions and deliver justice. Then I had a discussion with my oldest son, and I was wrong. He argued that my position was wrong, and my position was civilization was built on objectivity, on objective facts. You know, agriculture, you take a seed, you water it objectively, it'll grow and you'll get crops, and that gave rise to civilization. But his perspective was, and this was a very heated debate over multiple calls. So we eventually came to the fact that he said, you know, Dad, you have to get people to plant the seed. People have got to be managed to keep that bridge standing, because it can be standing, but if it's not maintained, it will fall. If you don't educate people, reach people who are very subjective, and motivate them to do regular maintenance. If the politicians don't care to allocate money to maintain the bridges will fall. And he was right. So objectivity may win an argument. It will not change minds. It will not change behavior. You have got to understand before you can deliver reason to people. And that is a very difficult lesson that I am continually learning throughout my life. And the fastest way to change an opinion is not through facts and figures and blunt force. And we all do it. I mean, Thanksgiving, when, you know, that uncle with a very strong opinion, you may not agree with anything they are saying. And you may think, all right, who is this person? He's obviously wrong. I will prepare how to counteract his argument. So I am loading. I'm loading up. I'm not really understanding what his perspective is. I don't really care about his life or what he's doing or his trials and tribulations. I am preparing my argument so when he stops talking finally, I can let loose. You will go away with disagreement, perhaps a fat lip, but you will not change any minds. The setup of these debates, you're not changing minds. What changes mind? So rather than be the battering ram of objective data when going through a wall, you are going to be the locksmith. You are going to open up the door, and it opens from the inside. They will have to let you in. You're not gonna blast through the door with all your information, because minds don't work like courtrooms. People have got to feel like they are heard before they'll listen to anything you have to say, and I can't emphasize this enough. You may be the smartest person, you may have the highest title, you may have the most assets. You will not be listened to if people do not feel like you understood them on a subjective level. So how do we do that? How do we become the locksmith? I began my career as a legal intern at Sabre Technology Group at American Airlines, and my boss, Judy Coover, would tell me something, and she was right, in my 20s, and she was 100% right, and she would say, understanding is not agreement. Understanding is not agreement, but you will never get to an agreement until you understand. And she would always say in a negotiation, I understand. It was great being at a table, working on as a 20-something, working on huge deals for, at the time, the largest airline in the world, and see her operate where she would say, I understand, and she would say, okay. And then if the other side said, oh, great, we're done, she says, no, I understand you and it's okay. I didn't agree with you, but I am understanding what your perspective is. And that really fomented agreement and understanding. People want to be heard, and understanding is not adoption of the idea. One fallacy you hear in the popular, business coaching sphere is this idea of empathy. You really have to stand in the person's shoes and understand everything, and then, kind of come their way. But understanding is very different than empathy. Understanding is not adoption. It would be like a doctor diagnosing a disease is not promoting the disease. He is not causing the disease. He's trying to understand the disease. It's reconnaissance. It is finding out what the contours of the interaction are before I can see if there is common ground, if there is something. And when we understand this, we understand these very refined, very intense, very acute positions that people may have, whether it's something at work, whether it's something political, whether it's something religious. It's all about what we are trying to protect. If you come at me with a bunch of facts about something on how I'm wrong, and if I'm making a livelihood at that, I will not say, oh yeah, you're right, I give up everything. I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna get harder, I'm gonna balkanize, I'm really gonna make it very difficult, even in the face of overwhelming evidence where you just proved that I am an idiot. I will still double down, and you see this, of course, on social media a lot. But I do believe that there are things that we can do to get beyond that, to get deeper understanding. And that comes with a few simple inquiries. There's something psychologists use, it's called the illusion of explanatory depth. What that is when someone has this extreme position that objectively we know is wrong, that they're trying to say up is down and down is up, and it's obviously wrong. We don't say that's wrong. We ask a question. This idea of the illusion of explanatory depth is we ask them, how did you come to that conclusion? The earth is flat. Well, how did you come to that conclusion? We never were on the moon. How did you come to that conclusion? And they will talk about it. And then you will say, well, that's an interesting point. The shadows don't line up on the flag or something on the moon. How did you analyze that? And after a lot of discussion, they're opening their own door. They're creating own doubts in their head. As they hear themselves speak and defend their position, they will see, well, maybe that is a little bit of a stretch. Maybe the earth isn't flat. Maybe circumnavigation is actually a thing. And they will deconstruct their own arguments for you. And then you may not change any minds at that session, but I guarantee you they will go away and they will start to doubt their life choices. So, what I want to finish with are two questions that I want you to ask to help you best understand people and understand your self-awareness that you could be wrong too. Me, never happens. So back to the discussion with my son. Now, when we interact after this, we have our relationship, believe it or not, after great acrimony, has greatly improved, and we do it to each other. First question we ask is, help me understand how you see this. And the second question is, tell me more, which is great for an attorney to hear because they love the sound of their own voice. Help me understand this and tell me more. Because nobody cares about what you know or how smart you are. They care about how much you understood them.